Hey there friends, welcome back to the channel. I'm Rhonda and this is a little bit of everything homestead. I am just gonna throw together dinner and talk to you. Everybody is doing a year-end review of like the end of 2024 or their 2024 year. Or they are doing like highlights of the year, like really fun, wonderful things that happened in their year. And they're kind of like going over the year. For me, my 2024 highlights or my 2024 year is filled with everything. So I feel like I can't pinpoint one specific thing because everything is a highlight. If you're new here, we bought this property as a fixer-upper and it was as is. So basically what happened was the couple that lived here was going through a really messy divorce. So basically they each packed a bag and they left. So that meant everything in the house they left. Clothes, furniture, food, dishes, everything. And they were not tidy people. The house was a disaster. The kitchen had a huge hole in it. The bathroom was filled with mold, and there was just stuff everywhere. So when we bought the property, we knew that we had a lot to do. So for 2 years, we cleaned out the house, we gutted it, found a builder, and we rebuilt it, and we put on an addition to what I am standing in the addition right now. So we moved in March of 2024. And for us, that was huge because we worked on this house for 2 years. We owned it for 2 years and owned my farm for 2 years. So we came over here and mowed the grass. We came over here and cleaned up the property. We came over here and cleaned out the house and gutted the house and brought it down to the studs. So moving in was a huge, huge deal for us. Then we had to clean up the outside because the outside was very similar to the inside. There were piles and piles and piles of debris, junk, garbage. So we started cleaning up the DZ. We cleaned up the ponds by the ponds and cleaned up all the willows by the ponds, and we planted a fruit orchard. We cleaned out the barn. We designated a pond to the ducks and the geese, and we brought the animals over. So to me, for me to pinpoint just one thing to say, oh my gosh, you know, that was so cool or that was so fun. It was all cool and it was all fun because we're here and we started, and it was 2 years in the making. So I can't pinpoint like one wonderful thing that happened in 2024 because they were all wonderful, because it was our beginning here at this homestead. And it was us cleaning up the property and moving the animals and bringing the dogs over and bringing this property and this land back to life. Like, it has a completely different feeling now from when we first walked through with the realtor. So I want to do some goals that we have planned for 2025. Scott is currently in the process of building a deck, so that is a biggie. We would like to finish cleaning up the DZ, which I have. If you guys go back and look at some of my other videos, I started this channel to log the process of what we were going through. So if you go back and look at some of my other videos, you'll understand. Anyway, Scott and his father started last summer cleaning up the DZ, and then we had to quit because Scott went back to school. Scott is a teacher, he has summers off. So I would like to finish that and get that area set up for our garden and our greenhouse. That would be my number one goal. There are other areas of the property that desperately need our attention. The barn is in disrepair, and it needs to be finished. It needs to finish to be cleaned out. So that would be maybe second on my list, so that we could bring new animals to this farm in a year or two. The other thing that we have planned for 2025 is we are building a garage. We are tearing down the current garage and we are going to start new with a new garage, so it matches the house. We can park our cars in there and we have a little bit of extra storage. So those two things in 2025 are going to be huge for us. Building the garden and adding the greenhouse to it, and then building the garage is going to probably take up Scott's entire summer. We got the layout for the garage, and we have a framer for the garage, but to save on cost a little bit, Scott will then, once the framing is done, Scott will then pick up where he left off and then finish building the garage. So that will be a very time-consuming process. So those are our goals for 2025. Along with, you know, like little things, like I will go around and build some gardens and plant all the vegetables and tidy up, you know, like tidy up the yard and give it spots that are designated for certain things so that it kind of has a flow. You know, I want it to be open and wonderful and filled with life, but I also don't want it to be super chaotic, you know. I want it to be simple so that when I go outside and we mow the grass and we tend to the flower beds and we tend to the garden, everything has a spot so it isn't always so chaotic. Because in moving here, it felt like everything was chaotic. So that is what we have planned for our 2025 year, some of our goals. And I would like to continue making fun content. I would like to, you know, document all the stuff that we are doing here on the property, because looking back from day one to now, it is completely different and it feels different. It feels different from the day that we walked through with our realtor to now. So I would love to do that. I have a birthday in January, so that will be a fun thing to celebrate. We have a couple of trips planned in 2025. We didn't travel a lot in 2024 because of all the things that we had going on. We had this property and we had my farm. We were living at that farm and we were coming here after work and on the weekends and cleaning everything up and doing the work and gutting the house. So we didn't have a lot of time to travel. So I would like to take a couple of little mini trips and log that. And I think that's it. I think that those are some really good, solid goals. I think they're obtainable, and I would love it if you guys followed along and you continued to support the channel. I love that you're here. I love that you comment. I love that you engage with me, because I feel like we're friends, you know. I feel like it's pour a cup of coffee and talk to the neighbor kind of relationship, you know. I want you guys to be excited for me when I find a new plant and put it in the driveway garden, or I want you to be like, oh, it's gonna be okay when I fail, because, you know, sometimes it's disappointing. So I feel like you are such a huge support system to me, and you are family. So I love it that you're here, and I love it that you keep coming back. And here's to growing and building and continuing our relationship in 2025. I hope you guys had a wonderful new year, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye, friends.